Series 1 is concluded in gloriously quick fashion here for Group F as we now move into our second series of the night.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. This is a battle between two European players who can absolutely beat each other out. But as much as I think one player can beat the other and the other can beat one, the record head-to-head is 5-0 in favor of TLO. He has got a massive, impressive record here. And I really think that he should be holding on to that. But for the first time in the WCS, we are going to see the new patch take impact, which is the Hellbat change. So Hellbats now, as soon as the armory is built, can immediately transform, or the Hellions can immediately transform into Hellbats. And the pushes that Terrans have really are more difficult to hold off. You have to be careful. And that's something which could surprise TLO because it depends on how much he's been practicing.
Yeah. All right, let's take a little bit of a closer look at two of these guys. As we have our first player here who, to be fair, has had some very, very good splashes in WCS Europe. It's TLO.
Yeah, TLO for me is a player who absolutely should have been at the Global Finals last year, up with Naniwa, because he had prime position to do so if he was able to do well in the Premier League. But in Season 2 and Season 3, he was eliminated in this very round, in the round of 32. This year is different. I think that he can go the distance. I think he can make it to the Global Finals. And as you can see there from his manager at Team Liquid, he wants to go. But it is so important to grab the results, to grab the points from the region that you play in, the Europe Premier League. He has to advance today if he really wants that goal to come true.
And then our second player, a guy who I still personally consider to be the top European Terran, it's Empire Happy.
Yeah, I mean, how many times we've had Happy? Oh, wait, 5 times we've had him in the studio. This is his 5th time in the Premier League, and every single season I do it over and over and over, and I always fall victim to it. I fall victim to saying, this is Happy's season. I believe it almost every single time, but he does disappoint a lot of his fans every time he enters. His highest finish was top 8 in Season 1 last year, very early on in 2013. From that, a couple of top 16, and then last season, round of 32. This guy is capable of winning today's group. He's capable of being much higher than he's ever been before.
Yeah, he is. There is a lot of prospect with Happy if he's able to really hit the nail on the head. Anyway, the countdown's begun for our second series of the day, I should say here. First map is going to be Overgrowth. And I'm very interested to see more so what TLO is going to bring to the game than anything. Because Happy is very kind of methodical, very robotic in his style. We've said it many, many times. But TLO, you know, he can be a bit wild.
I think TLO is going to be a little bit on edge today, more so than he would have done if this was prior to the patch being released. I think he's going to be worried against potential timings from Hellbats.
All right, well, let's get into it as we have game number 1 on the way of Series 2 for today. TLO versus Happy. As we have spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner our red Zerg. Representing Team Liquid, it is TLO. And up to the top right-hand corner, we have our blue Terran. It's Empire Happy.
All right. I think Hellbats, in the way that I've played with them, can be dealt with. But if you are caught over droning, if you are too greedy as the Zerg player, you will lose to these types of pushes. They are much more deadlier. Bailing's still good versus Hellbats, but what happens if the Bailings are used on the Hellbats and there's a lot of Marines left over, or something along those lines? So you've got to be careful here. And that's the way I think that TLO will approach this series. If he smashes a Hellbat timing in game 1, then I think he goes back to his regular play, no worries in the world, builds up his Mutalisk count, builds up his Bailing count, and goes boom, boom, kaboom.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Happy is actually going to bring a lot of this to the table. I mean, it's really difficult to ignore it as a Terran, right? Because of the versatility that it brings to the matchup, I would say.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a big change, and it really has impacted this matchup. So I'd be surprised if we didn't see Hellbats on at least once in this series. And I would imagine them to kick off the series overall in this first map. We are going to see a 12 barracks and 12 refinery, which is more common recently than it was before, because we used to see 11 and 11, which was for 3 Reapers, but this is for 2. And the reason for that is Zerg players got pretty good at defending against Reapers. They weren't really losing much, and you'd rather just get the faster command center and the Hellions to accommodate the double Reapers.
Yep. It can become a very, very scary push once all of those units couple together, that's for sure. Behind this, we have TLO going for hatchery first into spawning pool after that. Won't be surprised if we see him from here, just grabbing a gas, making sure that he's well defended. He knows that his opponent is probably going to be opening up in a pretty standard fashion, and eventually this Overlord will get over there and get confirmation of that Reaper.
This is statistically Happy's worst matchup within the WCS, 8 wins and 9 losses. Every other matchup is higher than that, and we have seen him eliminated by quite a few Zerg players over his time here within the WCS, notably one TLO. So to think about that, this is not his ideal position to be in, but we'll see how this shapes up. First Reaper has been spotted here by TLO, and he builds 2? Just 2, or is it going to be 4? 4. Okay, so 4 lings. So the 4 lings here are to cushion for the queens to come out, because the queens won't be out by the time this Reaper's here, and the lings are there to push the Reaper back to prevent drone kills. But we do see TLO already with gas being mined, so he's going to get Zergling speed quite fast here.
Yeah, and the Zerglings now going to poke on out. Now, most people in the Zerg shoes have got good at conserving their Zerglings.
Yeah, you shouldn't really be losing any. I mean, in an ideal world, sure, you might lose 1 or 2, but sometimes you don't lose any like this. The Queen should pop out here and should be able to buffer. There is a Zergling with low health at the front there, and he's going to get targeted. Oh, he missed there.
Yeah.
He was 1 hit away, and he just missed. So 4 lings do survive, queens are out, and so the Reaper isn't really going to do anything. And even the second Reaper, by the looks of it, is back at home in case TLO tried any trickery. They're trying to get some lings out and try to come around to prevent the command center from being built.
We've seen that a little bit in the past, like 2 Zerglings just running around the edges of the map.
Big scout 2 by TLO, picks up double gases nice and early from his opponent's base. Double gases pushes him up towards Starport and Banshee play. Could push him up towards that Hellbat play if he gets an armory fast.
Yeah, could do.
So thoughts already coming in here for TLO on what this can be, and definitely going to be on his toes for the next couple of minutes.
Yep, sees the starport, sees the factory switching up onto the reactor. He knows the Helens are going to be coming out 2 by 2, and then from there on, he's just going to try and fortify himself. There is a good opportunity on this map to actually start walling off the front as well. He's spread to put that Cream Trooper in a little bit of a scary spot if he wants to throw it on Evolution Chambers in the right place. I think he'll just throw him right behind it, though.
These Reapers are playing with fire here.
Yeah.
Zergling speed is a couple of seconds away from finishing.
They're not going to be able to get away too easily at all.
And this is actually a nice there for TLO. He's going to be able to kill both of these, which aren't coupled with the Hellions. And I think you can call that a bit of a mistake. The Reapers really shouldn't have been there. They should have already been back with the Hellions.
That's out of place. That needs to be one. There we go. All right, so TLO realizing his mistake, changing that up. He even sees Cloak being researched.
Yeah, he goes in to see if it is a starport with a tech lab on, or if it isn't, and that gas from the double gases have been thrown into an armory for the potential Hellbat. So he does spot this, but we could be seeing mech from Happy. It is a little bit smoother to transition into mech by grabbing a fast third and then the gases and then playing mech. It is more difficult with Bio because you don't have stim early on, and either are possible, but the smoother way is mech.
Well, TLO's already setting himself up to defend this initial push, knowing that those Hellions are out and on the way. We're going up to like 8 Hellions here. So, but again, if he continues on with those numbers of Hellions, then sky's the limit in terms of that mech play.
Yeah, I mean, Hellions are very difficult to deal with, and even a Spine Crawl has been added on creep to assist. A lot of Hellions kill a lot of lings. Let's be frank here.
Yeah, they do.
Unless they get a good surround on creep, Hellions are very dangerous. And on that right-hand side, where the third hatchery is very creepless.
Yeah, he's going to try and get that out there as quickly as possible. TLO with these 3 queens actually spreading that fast down there, eventually for the 2 queens to, spread it onwards and then one to aid this hatchery. But the hatchery is taking a lot of damage very fast. 8 Hellions or so.
Spine's moving over. It will help, but the Banshee can, of course, do some damage to that.
And this Banshee, it's helping out quite a lot during all of this.
Yeah, that Spawn needs to get over there to give some detection to these queens.
Yeah. Transferring his drones over here, he feels confident about the positioning of his opponent's army. The Spine will fall.
But without creep here, it's hard to, get that full surround on unless he comes from the other side here. Queens are taking damage. One of them gets destroyed here.
Wow.
TLO under a bit of pressure. He's droning. I'm not sure why.
This is good control by Happy for so far. Behind this, he got double engineering bay. Second Banshee's going to couple with this. He actually could lose his hatchery.
And if he does, then the contest between the two European players is going to be scratching towards Happy quite fast.
Yeah, out of range of that Spore Crawler here are the two Banshees that are starting to work away at him. If he controls well enough to kill off these Zerglings, then he still has room to do damage here. He's going to lose
the hatch. He's going to try and go for it.
He's trying to burrow. He gets one of the Banshees. Will the second one go down?
It's one hit. It's one hit. Two hits. One hit. Two missiles. Whatever.
Pew pew. Done.
Wow. He did sacrifice all his Hellions there, but that is a big pick-off. Nice then. He's got the faster upgrades. And remember, at this point, as a Terran player, you lost a lot of army supply. And if you've lost a lot of army supply, you don't have a very big army. But if you're behind a wall, what does it matter?
Yeah.
As you can see, he's got a full wall off there. He's got his units now starting to climb up. That's a win. That's a win for Happy. TLO is going to double expand, but Happy makes it work. But yeah, as you did say, third command center was the immediate follow-up to that, then double engineering bay, then barracks, then the third and fourth gas. If anyone was looking at his build, that was how Happy set himself up here.
It's so funny behind this. Like, TLO is taking both of these expansions almost in the same vein as we saw Golden take them in the previous series after he lost his third. But Empire Happy, there's no two basing about this guy. No, never. We have now Happy just kind of trying to seize the advantage with the economy from here on out with this bio.
He should get that third down as well. TLO would like to have spread creep there with that Overlord, but just a few seconds late. As you see there, just click the Overlord. Unfortunate. Late.
He's like, I'll do it anyway.
I'm going to spread some creep on your building.
At
this point, though, if you look at the army supplies, it is much better now for Happy. He's climbed back up, and he should be more than fine to defend against a few Lings. And overall, just a good position. His armory's finished up. 2-2's on the way. One thing we didn't see was any form of Hellbat play and timing. Could be a secret weapon for later on in this series. But Happy has a lead. Definitely. TLO is playing greedy to catch back up in this game, as he only has those Lings alone. The Spires coming in. Banelings are going to have to be morphed to push this back, but I can see a cancel on this gold base.
Yeah,
definitely.
Again, slightly out of place, so kind of a blessing in disguise in essence, for a second at least, as Happy now sets himself up in such a defensive way that TLO's going to have a really, really difficult time of ever pushing through with those two Widow Mines.
Yeah, and he's going to get a lot of creep here.
Ooh. Those Banelings do not have centrifugal hooks at the moment, so going forward would be a little bit dangerous. Oh, he got so many links with that first Widow Mine. 10.
Yeah, this is pretty nice here for Happy. Pretty nice indeed.
Yeah, he's doubling. He's doubled resources lost. So TLO, he's kind of on the ropes. He's trying to set up these bases.
I mean, he's spending so much gas in Banelings, which should be mutilous, but he has to build them right now because his bases are under threat by this little attack. It's not the best of positions to be in. He's got the faster upgrades coming in. Blue Flame and Hellbats have been added into the composition with these Widow Mines. Banshee's still alive, which was just annoying, I guess is the best way to describe it at this point, without Mutilus on the field. I
mean, it's the unit retention here from Happy to keep that Banshee alive and still poke and prod when he sees the opportunity to is really good here by Happy.
But TLO, in sacrifice of building Mutilus with the more Banelings, is able to get these fourth bases up and running, which is good for him. He's got a very good income at this point. But he's got to make sure to defend against these attacks, because they are now going to start to rally over. This is the classic Terran rally push.
And Hellbats mixed in. It's going to make it all the more difficult to really break. You don't want those Baneling. You want them to connect with Marines. Anything else isn't exactly the best of trades. As he spreads himself so well, even on top of this creep, it's going to be hard for TLO to actually engage into.
Well, he's going to have to soon. He's got Banelings being morphed in, and he will have to fight this.
Few Mutalisks are here as well, but it's not really the highest count. He brings down the static defense at this fourth base. It's going to fall so rapidly. Zerglings and Banelings try and come in, but the spread here from Happy is fantastic.
All the Banelings detonate on like 2 Hellbats at the top there. Not the best, and Happy's walking away with this one from the early kill on the third.
Yeah.
I mean, TLO maybe had to clean this up with some scrappy leftovers, but he's losing the Mulus, which are getting warped in here. The resources lost heavily in favor of Happy, and that is it. GG, and Happy, in the contest of the Europeans, does get the first map to himself.
Yeah.
And this is where the group becomes really interesting, because it is really, this group, a contest between the 3 players that aren't MC. Who's going to grab second place? And this is a really, really important game between these two.
He looked really scary there in that game. He looked very, very scary. Normally Happy kind of looks scary anyway. You know, he's pretty menacing when it comes to the game, but he was on form in that game. Like, I don't see, you know, what really TLO could have done a little bit more differently to actually breach that. That was good.
I mean, what I would like to see from TLO if we had a webcam on him currently is for him to do the same thing that he did in Sao Paulo where he got top 4, is to just decline his chair, just put it backwards all the way back and just sit back and I don't know, like the Wusa where he grabs his ears or something. He needs to get back in the zone now, because this, as mentioned, is so important of a series against a player that you have a 5-0 record against. You're not really meant to be coming into this with low esteem and just overall losing in the first map. So he's got to really turn things around. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for the German player to get what he wants, which is that top 16 global finals position.
That's true. Happy here, looking very scary. King Sejong Station is our next map in this series, and unless TLO changes something up and tightens those bolts a little bit, I could see Happy walking away with 2-0 here.
It was a good strategical play, though, from Happy to use a map where creep is harder to get towards a third, to use his Hellion play so efficiently. That was the game, you know, the position that put him in the lead within that game. The Hellions and the Banshee, which killed the third, that's what kind of won him the game to an essence. And then everything else was just cruise control.
Yeah, and there was no mucking about with the Banshees. There was no, I'm going to find some drones. I'm going to find a mineral line. It was just straight to that third with it. Like, the synergy between those two makes it very, very difficult for the Hellions to really get on top of the Banshees, because the Hellions are being very, very annoying for those Queens to really get there also. So it's a scary spot. And we'll be getting into game number 2 in a second. Can you think of... Do you think TLO is going to feel more comfortable on King Sejong Station?
Yes, because it does have a very similar third in terms of the distance to get the creep spread there, but it is also just a little bit further away for the Hellions to get there.
Yeah.
So in that regard, yeah.
All right. Well, countdown has begun for game number 2 in the second series of the night, guys, as Happy currently leads 1-0. After a very strong game number 1. TLO now, who is, as you said, a contender for those top spots in WCS in the entire system, is looking a little bit on the ropes. He does not want to be losing this series, that's for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't want to let himself down, but he also doesn't want to let his team down. 3 out of 4 Team Liquid players, including TLO, have already made it to the round of 16. He can complete all 4. He can make Team Liquid have a 100% advancement record from the 32 to the top 16.
All right, well, let's get into it then. Game number 2 now on King Sejong Station, as we have, spawning up to the top left-hand corner, our blue Terran. Currently 1 game up. It is Empire Happy. And down to the bottom right-hand corner, our red Zerg, representing Team Liquid. It's TLO.
Gonna need everything he has inside to perform today. As mentioned, this is... I'm pretty sure this is the strongest and most competitive group that we have. And the biggest reason is not because Seed 1's amazing or Seed 2's amazing. It's because Seed 3 and 4 that have come from Challenger today, which is Happy and also Golden. They're amazing players.
Yeah, they are.
Happy's one of the best, if not the best Terran. And then you've got Golden, who is a massive contender. He's been around forever, and he can definitely cause upsets today.
All right. Well, upsets could be abound. You're right. This is going to be a really cool group. I am looking forward to how this completely unfolds. Obviously, the starting couple of series, that's how we get a feel for the group, see who's really on top of things. MC looked great in the first series.
Yeah.
Happy's looking good so far, but there's still a lot of shake around that can happen, especially in the lower game, I would say.
Well, Happy's changing his build from game 1 to game 2. Has opened up with the 12 barracks, which is the same. But he's sending out an SCV scout at the moment, or just sending out an SCV. But more importantly, he hasn't taken the gas. So without taking the gas, he is looking at the moment towards a 1 barracks command center build. With this other SCV is just a simple scout to find out what TLO's up to. As that is kind of something you do when you play this build, because you don't have the Reaper to get that information for you. But a 1 barracks command center is something we don't see as often. And I do like the build. I do like the build, especially when you follow it up with double gases immediately into Hellion Banshee again.
Well, he sees the SCV coming in, and this is just looking for the gases. Like, do you have a gas? Okay, that's about halfway done. And then from there, going to scoot on out. Everything else is kind of anticipated and expected from this point. And the Marine, you know, if this Overlord strays too far...
Oh, that's the trick. That's the trick of this. Dead Overlord.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Surprise! I guess that's another benefit. I kind of overlooked that there. Not really thinking about it, but yeah. A lot of Zerg players just kind of always go towards the ramp with the Overlord. And that is annoying, to say the least.
Extra Overlord in production now to get him out of that supply block, and
nice
Queen started. Like, this delays any Zerglings that you would want to have out to actually poke forwards. Of course, he knows that it's not like a Reaper opening, so he doesn't need the Zerglings as much, but
Alright, so if I... You remember that one tournament which happened in StarCraft where the audience could choose what happened in the game, like random explosions?
Yes.
Imagine right now, I click my finger and Happy's supply depot blew up. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a minute. And now he's supply blocked, he has to rebuild another one. That's, to a certain extent, what kind of happened to TLO, because that wasn't meant to happen. That's not a part of the game, that's not a part of his build, but that was a nice trick which Happy did. And that has really slowed him down. And if you just think about you're playing a game of StarCraft and then all of a sudden Apollo said, you know what? Bam! Supply depot's gone.
Thanks, Apollo.
Then you're going to be like, oh, God, you know, it slowed me down a lot. And it does take a big impact on the game.
All right, well, bunkered up now is Happy. And got to be feeling good about that, I would say. Got to be feeling good about that. He's like, I tricked you. With that factory now finishing up, with that reactor going down, just switching those out.
What's this SCV at the back for?
Where is he?
Second factory, hidden at the back.
Ooh.
We are going to see blue flame Hellions. And if you think about what we saw in that previous game, did you see any roaches? I didn't.
I can't recall any, no.
There's not a Roach Warren, and without a Roach Warren, this becomes even harder to defend against. And actually one of the things of commentating Happy for the last couple of years, and it really has, I have casted him for a good couple of years.
We've done a lot of Happy, yeah.
He's very predictable and doesn't really change his strategies from game to game.
Oh, supply depot's got raised.
Tech lab. Okay, good. Nice tech lab. Tech lab's a fake.
Yeah.
He had to get that down. If that was just an empty barracks, then...
It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, but he should be able to think that this is... at least it looks like it is. But yeah, commentating Happy over the years, he doesn't really change his strategies from game 1 to game 2, and is very predictable. But he's doing it right here.
Like, he needs to Happy basically needs to sell the story. It's like, hey, these are just my normal Hellions at the front, like, poking around.
But
TLO
one thing TLO does know is that there should be double gases with a barracks command center build that isn't a Reaper. So is it Blue Flame? Is it a Hellbat timing? Is it a Banshee play? So as much as this is okay, TLO, I think, starting to, you know, build a lot of units. He's building spores. He's adding on a Baneling Nest. He's got a lot of lings. If this was to be like a counterattack, it doesn't work out that well because it is Blue Flame versus lings, which isn't ideal. And he's going to spot all these. He's going to kill them. He's going to catch these. He's got a lot of lings on the left-hand side.
That's a little bit of a blow here for Happy, considering...
And Happy's going to probably slow the pace down.
He kind of has to.
TLO's still building lings, so he's going to go and attack. But this is still going to be, hopefully, in 30 seconds' time,
he's going to try
Blue
and
Flame Hellions. Yes. I would probably suggest adding on a couple of extra bunkers or something. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of Hellions, and TLO doesn't really know this, remember. So even though this is a massive attack from TLO...
Blue Flame.
There's going to be Blue Flame and a lot of Hellions. And a lot of Hellions is good against a lot of lings. It really depends on how much damage these Banelings do. Maybe he pulls out all the SCVs and then... I'm not sure. Let's see how well he deals with this.
Here they go. Bunker gets broken down very, very fast. And there's the Blue Flame now. TLO really bringing the fight to him. Splitting off all of these Zerglings in opposite directions is a good move to start with for TLO. Really occupying the front of those. 15 workers have already gone down on this natural.
Yeah, that's a nice move. But remember, this is still Blue Flame Hellions, which means the counterattack potential is so big.
It is. Got to be careful here. Really needs to... I think he needs to spread lings and buy time throughout the map. Like, just have them on a counterattack.
Yeah, he's building a spine or something. So, as much as that could have been game, it is very hurtful to Happy. You know, don't count me out here. I mean, he's down to 23 SCVs. He is on 3 command centers, which does help him repair a lot. But right now, I mean, Happy needs to start thinking about getting out there with his Hellions.
Yeah.
The longer this goes on, the better it is for TLO. 3 spines. He's setting up a counterattack for when the lings do, or the Hellions do go out, he can go in. Happy's got a bit of a timer on. Needs to do damage ASAP.
This is actually very nice. Leaving a few of these Hellions back to then, yes, repair, but they're going to act against this counterattack if it's to come. And then moving out with these, we only have 24 Lings and 7 Banelings.
It should be enough, though, I think. If he gets to surround with the Lings and then Banelings to come in, and then there's Spines here.
Ooh.
There's the move over to the Hellbats. He did get the armories. All right.
All right, Hellbats, let's go. Needs to spread a little bit so these Banelings don't do as much. Sick Hellbat spread. Take a while, but... and he could start busting down a little bit more of this.
Yeah, that was a nice transformation there.
Gonna try and get in between these mineral lines, I suspect. Forces the drones away, denies a little bit of mining time, but Happy is down in terms of supply during all of this. 11 drones.
Yeah, just look at the overall supply.
It's ridiculous.
He didn't get to the drone count. It's double the income. Lings and Banelings should be able to clean this up, as scary as that was.
Transform, run away. Dun, dun, dun. All right, okay, great. So, he's busy there. Aside from that, I mean, oh, wow. Vengeful Saxon, Pneumatized Carapace. I guess it's just roaches, roaches, roaches from here on out.
Yeah, he'll stop his economy from now because he's at full saturation for 3 bases, 70-odd drones here. And will get roach speed, will build roaches, will drop a lot of units here. On the 3rd base, most likely. The 3rd base is going to be what Happy will be aiming towards next, as he is behind in this game, so obviously he needs to take another base. That's where TLO will look to capitalize.
Well, the Hellions going to try and sneak on around. They don't really have the information that they need just yet. Only see a few Queens and a Baneling, but aside from that, trying to get to these drone lines. Can kill off a few of these Zerglings if they're well and truly positioned. Yeah, I guess them. But...
And more roaches are popping out, so...
Yeah, dealing with the amount of roaches that TLO is going to have off the economy powered out early on is going to be difficult.
Remember, Happy has no idea, so he's building Thors and turrets in case there's Mutalisk, because the traditional way to play with mech is Mutalisk and Swarm Host. He's no idea about this attack. No idea.
Yeah.
And without tanks, without a massive set of turrets, without bunkering down on this 3rd, you're going to have a very hard time against all these roaches that are just going to land right on top of the army.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult. You're right. I mean, TLO now is absolutely monster moding the supply. All of those roaches obviously kind of, you know, give you a huge amount of supply anyway. They are very supply heavy, but how are you supposed to deal with this with just these Thor? Yeah. Happy's got to have a miracle hold. 3 starports behind this. Wow.
All right, time to pick up these units and drop them on top.
Nom nom nom.
And now he sees it, and now he's like, oh no.
Yeah, this is the whole of his army, basically. This is going to be hard to hold on against, I will admit. He has to pick up the
on top of the
Banelings.
Hellbats, and then roaches to come in to sweep up everything else.
All right. Not a great start for Happy in game number 2, that's for sure, as TLO has basically just monster moded this one and killing off those few Thors. And there you go, GG. TLO ties up the series 1-1 after some impressive play.
Gonna game 3 between these two, and now it really is all to fight for. Happy opening up with the 1st, and now TLO with the 2nd. Still very difficult to call which way this will go. If you do get it right, make sure to send in tweets on the hashtag WCS and let us know that you are predicting exactly how this group is going to unfold. Maybe you got the MC one, I'll give you that, but this one's more difficult. And I don't know what to expect yet. Happy tried something here. Could have worked if it was a different setup. It looks like TLO was able to do rather well for himself.
The thing is, though, if you take this away and you know the previous Happy, it's nice to see him try other things and try and catch his opponent off guard. Yes, it didn't work. Normally, when Happy is able to get those victories, it's when he's in his true comfort zone. But these hints of Happy changing things up, that's
well, it kind of fits the group. He's just unpredictable.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he going to do on this next map? You don't really know. He's capable of multiple things by the looks of it. But one thing to know, it's Altazim Stronghold for the next map, which is the largest map that we have in the map pool. And because it is, it's easier for Zerg to play on. I think this is hard for Terran. It's a big map. And especially with a player who focuses on spreading creep, which all the liquid Zergs do. When creep is everywhere in the middle of Altazim, good luck trying to fight, because he will come from every angle.
Yeah.
He'll crush your army in the middle, and it is hard. So I'm not too sure how Happy he's going to play this. Does he just, grit his teeth and go for it anyway?
Gonna have to try something, I guess. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more of a bio focus from the initial Hellion opener here from Happy.
Yeah.
And playing mech on this can be a bit difficult.
I mean, even the Hellion Banshee is just not as effective here, because the 3rd's all tucked in towards the Zerg. It's easier to spread creep there and easier to defend. Not too sure what to expect from Happy. Definitely is a harder map. Probably the hardest of all three for him to play on.
Yeah, we'll find out in just a little bit here as Altazim's Stronghold's getting loaded up and good to go. TLO in prime position now to capitalize on this and try and move through to play against MC in the winners match as we jump right on in to find out who is going to move on to play against MC. As we have spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, Red Zerg representing Team Liquid, tying it up one apiece. It's TLO. And down to the bottom right-hand corner are Blue Terran representing Team Empire. It's Happy.
'Cause he's happy.
I've only seen him smile like once, man. Once, no, maybe twice. Twice. Once at Copenhagen Games, and once when he was here. I remember them very fondly.
They don't happen too often. I'm on this map. The heavy mutualists, heavy bailing into eventually just getting up to towards the ultras, and so just the traditional style of Zerg is very good, especially combined with very good creep spread. So Happy is going to have to play the game of his season.
Basically, yeah.
Sick.
Third game of the day.
Third game of the day, third game of the season. Playing for the season would be smart to do.
Do it, Happy. Do it now.
He's going to go for a command center first to start things up. So playing towards the map a little bit more. Could open up Reaper, but he's just going to get the best start when it comes to his economy and ignoring the fact that the Reaper offers you scouting abilities here. So he's just going to say whatever. TLO is going to hatch first on the low ground, which helps that creep spread nice and early here, because obviously hatchery down here faster means faster queen, second queen, which means better creep spread earlier on.
He's got the better end of everything right now in this game. I mean, this Overlord's heading in the right direction, so he'll know where to spread the creep in the right direction as well. This is a great start for the Zerg.
Yeah, he could open up 3 hatch, but it's usually a bit unwise to do so because, of course, there are still Reaper openings that are used here, more so than the command center first. But the Overlord will get over there, and he will be able to see the command center first play just by seeing the lack of fast barracks, as it just now has been placed down. From this, though, Happy can play incredibly greedy. But remember, he is still a player in the dark, which is something to always keep in mind when you're trying to think about what Happy's thinking and decisions are going and being made. He's completely in the dark until that SCV gets some good info.
Yep. TLO, though, seeing that SCV might be starting to twig that he's here, and then now he's just going to get full confirmation, which is lovely for TLO. He's got his gas on the way. He actually cancels it now, realizing where his opponent is, and sees the barracks.
Yeah, he
and the
sees
timing
his
of it.
command center first, so he was opening up gas like he would do usually against the Reaper opening, but it's not that, so there's no need for gas, so he takes a faster third. And Happy's going to be able to go in, see a lack of gas as well, and see the third coming, and we'll probably just be looking towards a very greedy opening here. The way that Happy's opened up this series, the way that I know he likes to play, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fast third command center, double engineering bay, the lot. Just everything before he starts to even, build up a big army. He could try some timings with Hellbats again if he does have any secret strategies with them, but the way that he would usually play would signify fast third.
Well, there's the factory, but you're right. The fast third could come. It's like, Happy in this situation. He's looked at the menu. He's gone over. He's looked at the menu. He wants everything. He wants all the toppings. He wants everything. And that is in the form of those fast third.
But he has taken the second gas, and he is going to prevent the scout from coming in. So as much as that would have been his plan before, it looks like he may have some secret strategies to use today. As taking the second gas. He may just go Helen Banshee into third like he did before. He may try a Hellbat play. Something is up with taking a second gas, though. It is pushing him away from having the right money to build the third command center on time. And with the Overlord placement here being stopped from getting in, this can work for him because TLO is not going to be able to see what this follow-up is.
And the Marine technically moved away from that location, and TLO, if he was keeping good eyes on things, would have noticed that. But behind all of this, it's starport time, so Happy is kind of going to what looks like bread and butter for him. If he's going to just go straight into a Banshee.
Oh, TLO needs to figure out what's going on. It's almost not worth investing in Overlord speed sometimes at this point. That have been done before to try to get an Overlord in there to figure out what's going on. But I think getting Overlord speed, by the time he gets in there, he wouldn't see anything anyway that he wouldn't be able to stop in time because it would come too late. He goes straight up towards Zergling speed. Remember, the benefit of expanding towards the front will play a factor in this game so far. He's spreading creep out there already, which means, as we saw previously, that's his third in an essence. he should be able to defend it much, much better than he did on that first map of the day.
There's the Banshee as well as Cloak now on the way. This Overlord is going to be very close to getting to that. I think it will do.
It's a big scout. He should be able to get it here.
And see that on the very edge.
Well, the problem is he might not see the tech lab. So as much as he sees the starport, he doesn't see the tech lab. So it is a decent scout, but it isn't the best scout because he's not sure what it is. So it's like Spore Crawlers in every middle line in case of drops. You've got Hellions that have snuck their way in because he's focusing so much on static defense here.
Oh, jeez.
He forgot about just building initial units, so he's taking a lot of damage. And 10 drones! 11 drones already.
Dear. That's a big blow.
He's thinking of all the different options it could be without just simply thinking about Hellions running into his mineral line.
All these, that mean that Spore Crawler could have been later. All of these Spore Crawlers could have been later. That could have been extra units at the front to defend this creep.
He was definitely worried about Hellbats there. If anyone was to ask him why did you let that happen, he was like, because I thought it was probably going to be a Hellbat drop. He didn't know what was coming on there. The armories are coming in, but it is Hellion Banshee, 3rd command center, double armory. And with Hellions still being made, remember these can transform once the armory completes as well to cause another threat here. And this is just a suicide dart of Hellions because he knows at this point there should only be drones being made in greed for TLO to catch back up. So he just charges in anyway.
It was ambitious and got 1 or 2 drones, but in the end now, TLO with this creeps extending out, he's got his double evolution chamber going down. But the thing is with Happy playing mech from this point on is that he's already done quite a bit of damage. It's 45 works to 45. Even Stevens here, Happy would do all right with this mech play if he can kind of like make sure his opponent isn't going to run him left and right.
And TLO still doesn't really know what the follow-up is. He just saw Banshees, I think, there. So he's going to have to get the layer in to get some overseers, you'd imagine, to start being able to defend against this. A scan comes in realizing that, oh, there's double evolution chamber and a Baleen Nest. Sounds good to me. Because this looks quite normal for TLO, but he switched his upgrades from melee to range, which means he is going to focus on roaches with the roach swarm coming in. Or, you know, potentially the infestation pit once that layer is done. But without the layer here, there is definitely windows of opportunity, I suppose. But there's a lot of spores, actually.
This Overlord, wow, it's going to be very, very hard. I mean, Happy's already on its tail with that Marine, so it'd be difficult to spot the double armories. But I think he's just kind of reading into it in general, right?
Yeah.
So he knows what's going to be coming by the looks of things. How many workers did he get? Any with these Banshees? 1. Okay, so 15 kills in total so far. He knows the spores are there, so he has to retreat away from them.
Where is the lair?
Okay. There now. It's pretty late, though.
Well, it just keeps him away from the infestation pit, roach speed. I mean, it doesn't really keep him away from 2-2, but it keeps him away from any form of aggression in this game that could be effective.
A lot of drones now coming out, though, here for TLO. He's wanting to really rock it up in terms of that macro.
Well, 22, 23, 24 drones have been killed.
It's really good.
It's excellent use of these harassing units.
Yeah.
It's a lot of workers killed. And of course, they all have to be replenished. TLO only has 5 lings, and there is a ton of Hellions. I mean, sure, he can build roaches soon, but he's a little bit supply capped. If those Hellions went over, I actually think the game could end.
They could do enough damage. I mean, with Blue Flame finishing up in a second as well.
I mean, there's 3 roaches, and he's supply capped until these overlords pop. I'm sure he'll start to build more roaches, but right now, TLO is in danger.
He is. He's got some good creep spread into the middle of the map, which is nice, but that's not going to keep you alive if the Hellions... Because the Hellions, they're actually sneaking around. They're looking to go on the offensive. They're going right around this creep.
Yeah.
And, well, he finds the 4th. So I guess he could maybe deny the...
yeah, I mean, he doesn't know if there are units out or not, or how many drones there are, so he's going to do this.
So let's see if he's got pulled off there for a second, but...
Yeah, he was a little bit worried about potential Nida Swim or something coming in, not too sure there. But there's a transformation. He should be fine to deal with these Hellbats, but he did stop the 4th, which is good for Happy. You always want to be keeping your opponent down in income, and killing as many drones as he did is great, and slowing the 4th is double great.
This is the first game, or this is the first series even, I should say, that I'm seeing the new change in already implemented, and already I'm enjoying watching it. You know, it adds a bit more diversity to what we're seeing from Happy. He has the option to go into those Hellbats at any point in the map with these Hellions, which it just adds that extra little flavor to what we're seeing from Terran. I like it.
And I know there's a lot of people that want to see TLO do well, but I'm gonna tell you right now, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
This is a mech army that's building up. There are 4 Cloak Banshees, and there is no detection currently with this army. there is a lot of Hellions, and there's a lot of Thors and tanks, and you name it. There's just a lot of mech. I do not see in that production tab yet a way to beat this. And it is not pure numbers in Roach and Hydra, let me tell you that. With the amount of units that Happy has and the upgrades at 2-2, it is not Roach Hydra. It can be that Hive, though. It can be Vipers. But right now, there's no answer to this mech army.
Yeah, and it's gathering a lot of momentum behind this. Happy is 40 supply away from maxing out, and once those Thors start popping, oh boy, is that supply going to be going up fast. He's trying to get his 4th base, but as we say, even adding in even more Banshees to this is so cool from Happy.
Yeah,
so
Banshees,
cool.
Ravens. I mean, innovation I've watched on a stream recently is use a lot of Vikings in this composition in case there are Mutalisks or in case there are just Overlords and Overseers around, which then helps the Banshees in return.
Clearing up so much of this creep as well.
Yeah, he may push out at 2-2 here.
Yeah.
And it may be a force that I don't see stopped. I'm not sure if he's seen the Hive yet.
But, I mean, all of this derives from the amount of damage he did that early on with those drone kills at the natural, inverted commas, base of TLO, who, well, TLO is now moving towards this location to deny the 4th and maybe get himself a Thor, which would be nice.
If he gets a unit, that's nice.
Yeah.
That is nice. But Roach Speed's not done, and he's gone too far already. Doesn't even get the Thor kill. So if I was Happy at this point, I'd move down, clear out that Overlord, kill these units, and then go attack. 2-2's finished. You take your 4th. Hellions have even managed to sneak around this side.
42 workers have been killed so far. This is catastrophic for TLO. Yes, he's almost maxed out himself, but Roach Hydra isn't going to have the easiest time against this army at all.
Like I said, it's Vipers. It's Vipers.
They've got to be out. They've got to come. Where are they?
Without it, it's just 2 armies headbutting, and there is a lot of Hellbats here, and there's a lot of headbutting potential that Happy has.
Jeez.
Look at all these guys wanting to headbutt TLO, and they will headbutt TLO.
If I was a Roach, I would not want to be headbutted by a Thor, just saying.
Well, you know, it's biological units versus metal
versus a steel girder smashing into your face. It's not gonna help.
All right, Vipers are on the way.
Uh-oh, here come the boys as well.
Well, some auto repair here. This doesn't classify as bring the boys.
No, okay, this is a minor version.
This is the repair team. This is the A&A. You know, this is the emergency repair team that are going to help out and pick up a couple of loose wheels and spare wheels, add them onto these tanks. But this force is...
Jeez.
I mean...
What are you supposed to do against this? Oh, well, he gets a unit or two, but...
The Overseer's already gone.
All right, then.
You know, this is one slow and very difficult army to stop.
I'll be honest with you. Right now, it's not even that slow. He's just going for it. He's like, well, I don't really care. I'm just going to go right into your face. Those Hellbats killing off a few of the Roaches at the front, tanking for them. Those siege tanks at the back.
Well, the Vipers is the last resort. With the correct blinding clouds here, they can nullify this army. So it's not all hope lost. But this is a very strong army from Happy. He needs these blinding clouds to hit properly.
Only 12 Hydralisks, though, against those Banshees during all of this. A few Queens in the mix as well, though. But there goes one of the pulls, actually. He's going for a few of the abducts. There's a blinding cloud onto the siege tanks at the back. That is indeed nullifying quite a bit of this. Trying to kite back into it. It's blow for blow, trade for trade right now. How many Banshees are left, though? Still 5 in the air, doing a lot of damage to this army. And they can't even break the siege line at the back.
There are 24 more Roaches. But there's a lot of mech coming across the other side of the map. Remember, this is still 3 bases. It's not 4. It's not 4 command centers, so there is still hope here. But he's lost, I think, a lot of his Vipers, didn't he? No, he's still got 2, so there are still potentially 2 to 4 more blinding clouds.
Banshee's still going uncontested, though. Those 5 Queens trying to do something against all of this once they rendezvous with a few of the Hydralisks. But right now, the Banshees are laying waste to that base. It falls so catastrophically. Oh my god, that died fast. And now, TLO is really on the ropes. He's having to scramble to find a way out of this. More Roaches coming in from the south side. And also from the north, getting on top of some of these siege tanks. But the Hellbats reinforcing. And again, the Banshees...
Yeah, he's lost steam now.
The Banshees have done so much. GG. Wow. Happy propelling himself forwards there into the winners match.
And yeah, that's a good performance from Happy. And for a lot of Terran players, there still is hope for another Terran player to move in to the round of 16 with only 1 so far advancing. We could see another one today. But that now means that TLO is forced to go down to the low bracket, forced to compete against Golden for a chance to survive in the tournament. But the Russian player has now an opportunity at the title in a certain way, an opportunity to go through in first place and push MC away from that position.
Yeah, We've seen Terran players give MC a bit of a run for his money in the past. That one being MMA, to be exact. But now he has an opportunity indeed. All right, guys, join us after the break. When we go to the winners match, it's going to be MC versus Happy.